And I'm here with Emmanuel from Junub Open Space in South Sudan. Is that right?
Yeah, South Sudan.
Excellent. Okay, so why don't you tell us the topic you're talking, and then just go right ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here. So my topic of discussion is on stories from South Sudan beyond the conflict, because I'm an entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur and a peace activist, and I work for Junub Open Space, in South Sudan Technology, Information and Innovation Hub, majorly focusing on access to information and as well looking at the tech angle of building peaceful coexistence among communities in South Sudan. So basically, there's a lot of stories, most especially in South Sudan, that actually people didn't know about it, like a lot of innovative things that happen. Most especially, I'm going to share my experience, for example, knowing about the community, the cryptocurrency community. It is just from an experience where I started, I attended one of the conference in Rwanda, that's the Transform Africa Summit, and whereby I was able to meet colleagues from the blockchain community, and I was able to interact with them. And out of that conversation, I piqued interest. And for example, with how business can actually, change situations. For example, with the context of South Sudan, whereby, for example, the fluctuation of prices of things in the market is always going higher and higher every day. And like, let me just say, like those days, in 2013, 14 downwards, before the civil war that happened in South Sudan, there was, for example, a soldier received like 300, $350. That's like, 350 pounds. That's like around $1, like the person received. But then, like, this thing keeps on increasing, the price of things keep on increasing every day in the market, but yet, like, there's nothing that is being added on the salaries of these people. So when I joined the community and I start knowing how these things actually work, and I become part of the EatBCH South Sudan community, whereby we volunteer our time to support our neighborhood, for example, using this cryptocurrency. And I can say that from 2018 up to date, we have actually impacted a lot of communities. And like right now, the target and the angle of our of the work that currently we're doing is, for example, there's massive flooding right now that is happening in most part of South Sudan, and like I've been looking at the way of how, for example, the community, the cryptocurrency community can actually be of importance or help, for example, to this, to such places. I'll be looking at the angle of stopping the flooding in the next 5 to 15 years by planting millions of trees, turning the community, the most flooded place, into a forest by planting variety of trees. For example, I looked at 30% of the trees that is being planted in the place to be medicinal trees, and then 20% to be trees that actually observe keep the environment safe, and then also another 15% to be an angle for fruit trees. So majorly, and like people within the BCH community, they can able to buy digitally these trees by giving them a serial number and the X and Y coordinates, and the tree can be maintained on their behalf here in South Sudan in those flooded areas in order to stop this flooding. So, and like the serial number will be given, and like from years to come, if the person wanted to come and visit the place, and he can able to come and visit and see the tree that is being planted on his behalf. And like one seedling of tree planting and maintenance for it can go for $30. The reason why the $30 goes for is, for example, for the person who is going to maintain for it on the name of that person. That's basically some of the things that we thought it can actually, it is not about stopping only the flooding, but it's also creating a healthier and safer planet. for the people that are living in that community, because like this is something that have not been happening, and it started simply because of the recent conflict that has been happening that with a lot of many trees from the places, and it have actually made a lot of loss of so many other species that migrate from South Sudan to Kenya. So these are some of the things that I thought like it can actually, at the same time, it allows, for example, creating this opportunity for so many people to start using BitcoinCash, because like if someone can able to buy trees with BitcoinCash and be maintained on their behalf, and then in some years they can still come and own it, and then that is like creating this mass community of people to start using it. And this will actually help the country in a way that since the price of things always goes very high in the market, this can be an opportunity whereby, for example, these people in that community, they can start use this here among themselves to buy things and other things, any exchange of commodities among themselves within the locality. So that is one of the reason why I'm looking at having this forest in the place, so that being able to save the place and at the same time become a space for sustainable. It become a sustainable forest of its own by people owning it. And like the other thing is also that there's a lot of innovations that is happening in South Sudan. For example, from our work from 2018 up to date, we managed to talk to several people who are already here and who are, for example, in small groups, and they're having the businesses, and we've been telling them on how they can actually start using this cryptocurrency. And like one good thing that we managed to find out is that they accept it, but then like there's still a challenge of how will they able to later on, for example, transfer it maybe to their mobile money or from the mobile money to here. But yeah, like there's so many already farms. Like there's one farm called Ubuntu Farm, which is already accepted, and that's like out of our meetups that we've been having. And like we have our meetup in our BCH house here in Juba. That's like the house that we built, and like we have a shared co-working space. People come and co-work, collaborate in group and individual projects. And within the hub, and as well outside when we do hiking, like in the Southern, in one of the nearby mountains, we are also able to, for example, have this interaction with so many groups of people that we have. So like South Sudan, in the angle of view, like so many people, there's been a lot of conflicts and all this, but there's also a lot of amazing things that actually happens here that very many people didn't know about it. And I'm so much happy that I was able to, to be part of this conversation that is going on, and I'm so grateful. And yeah, so and also, if there are, for example, questions from the community and to me or to what we does, and I will welcome any questions that will come out. And yeah, I will be glad to answer them up.
Okay, excellent. So we're looking for questions for Emmanuel on his project. So did I understand correctly that, so you're located in South Sudan, is that right?
Yeah, in South Sudan, the capital in Juba.
Okay. And you're looking to do, it's kind of like a permaculture project, is that right?
Yeah, similar to permaculture, yeah.
Cool. And so how is internet access, maybe mobile internet access in South Sudan right now?
So internet penetration, like I can say, it does not cover most of the areas in South Sudan. And like with us, we managed to build an offline internet server that we manage to, for example, gather a bunch of materials that educational content that we feel like in the remote areas, we still those content can be accessed. For example, we set up community networks in some of the areas, and like the offline internet server helps some of these places that don't have total internet communication, and they can still communicate among themselves, and they can still text messages within this community network that we started.
Cool, cool. Have you seen like the mesh networks? Is it something like that?
Yeah, something similar like the mass network, and like the thing about it, it is just a very portable device that have that takes low power. For example, you can work with power banks and anything. So you just have to connect it. It is just plug and connect. So you don't have to, for example, have a very big. It does not consume a lot of power, and it's also environmental friendly. And that is, for example, what we use right now.
I see. Very cool, very cool. So we're looking for questions from the audience for Emmanuel on his permaculture related project in South Sudan. So what's the situation like in South Sudan today? I know that there was some civil strife.
Yeah, so like basically in most of the remote areas, there's still a lot of challenges that is going down. But like more especially the communal fight among communities, which is still there, and that has been there for like because
it's 10:45.
I mean revenge that has been there. That's why it's like somehow, but it is somehow being mitigated. So currently, I think the biggest problem here is the flooding issue that actually affected more than 100,000 people from their various places that have fled out from their place simply because the whole town and the whole community is being flooded with the area. And it is one of the, one of the states that have a huge number of people living in. So like right now, people are moving out from there where the resident is to a different resident. And through their process, actually, there's this same problem that occurs within them, within the different communities.
I see. That's really cool. So yeah, anybody who's got a question for Emmanuel, the question's very welcome. Let's see. Oh, so here we have a question from the chat. Thank you, Lizzie Lacey. And the question is for you, Emmanuel. How long have you been doing EatBCH? Can you tell us about some of the successes, how many sites, etc.?
Yeah, so like EatBCH, we started 3 years back, and we started to do one site. And like I remember the first day we had around 50 children from the street because we cooked it at our space, the meal. And then we went to the street and we talked to these street kids and we brought them to our space. And it was rainy. So, and our space was very small, our BCH house was very small, but we managed to bring all the kids inside and give them the meal. So we interacted with them, we hear stories from their side. So, and we managed, for example, to know thousands of people, like why are they in the streets? And we have some few colleagues within our community who are able to, for example, give them some counseling programs and others. So, and from there, up to today, we have 11 sites, and this 11 sites is spread across different states of South Sudan. So, for example, in Bor, where there's this high flooding, we have a space there around 3 places that right now being supported by the state and like the community. So we have space like in Yei. Yei is one of the small village within Juba, Central Equatorial State, which is a state in Juba. So this state, I remember how we first responded to the need or the call. The bishop from one of the church, there was a cluster fight between these groups that led to so many people fleeing out from their place, and they said for refuge at the church compound. So the church called for support from any a group of people who can able to support them with meals. So when we had the call and our friends are down there on ground, and the power of BCH, how it is. So we asked the colleague to download the wallet from Bitcoin.com and share with the address with and we managed to send BCH to him. And it was the fourth day that actually those people live without meal, the fourth day. So that same evening, we sent the BCH. He managed to buy food. I don't know if my internet is clear or it is breaking down.
We can hear you.
Okay, so like the fourth night, whereby the people in that compound stayed without meal, we managed to send this in microseconds. Of course, he managed to receive it, and he went to one of the shop and talked to this guy who he can receive BCH in exchange for food items, which he accepted, and we managed to get food items. And that same evening, the children and the women and the whole people were so happy, including the bishop. It's like he did not know that there's such technology that exists that allows, for example, transfer of money within microseconds, and that can able to save, for example, people in such situations. So this is like some of the stories from that. And like from this all 11 sites that right now we are having across South Sudan, I can say up to date, it has actually impacted a lot of life, and it has actually changed narratives here in South Sudan. And like from all these sites that we set up, we start getting mentions within Juba. So like we have some restaurants who already accepting BCH, and we also have some shop and some mobile money point of people who do money transfer. We also start accepting BCH.
Excellent. Excellent. So, so how long have you been doing EatBCH? You've been at that for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I think now it is going to our fourth year this year.
Wow.
So like, from the time we started.
So what about so something that we're working on at BCH Ignite is training people to start small businesses with Bitcoin Cash. Like buying and selling, for example. Do you see any potential for that in South Sudan?
Yes, I've been thinking of how, because like right now what the community here, like the people here in South Sudan looking at is where they can actually have their business, and at the same time, anytime they would like to buy something, they can easily do it. So like one of the things that I'm looking at is I've been looking at setting small businesses that can actually allow, for example, people who are BCH, they can to be able to come over and just get something and also exchange. So like, for example, I'm looking at an application one that can allow, because we have two mobile money companies in South Sudan right now. So like these two mobile money, the community are asking how can they have, access BCH using buy BCH using their mobile money, and then they can also have the credit back. And I've been talking with the guys sometimes about how we can able to, for example, there's the Duka hub in Uganda that allow people in Uganda access those things. How about we have something similar in South Sudan that actually allow people to do that exchange in Juba? So like, one clear thing also I looked at also is I'm looking at setting a food truck because like this is going to be for the first time. My angle is not only about the food truck that will be there that allow people, for example, buy the food using GCH alone, or even allow them buy using crypto, mobile money or any other cryptocurrency, or even the cash. But what I'm looking at is people need to, what they wanted to see is practical here. That's what I'm looking like. If I set, for example, this food truck, it will move in most of the places across Juba, and every place it moves will be able, for example, to have two people when they ask questions, will be able to answer them and able to introduce them in what is BCH and how they can able to, for example, start using. I remember I just introduced so many writers already here, like how can they able to use rate cards or even Twitch or even US.org or different other platforms, how can they use? And then they can gain cryptocurrency at the end of the day in their funds. And I also, like, after they have it, I tell them, if you want to buy something from me, let me know, because I sell moringa leaves, fresh one and the dried one, honey and other stuff. If you want to buy it from me using this date, you need to know that I always accept. And sometimes if they also wanted to have it in cash, they just come to me and I pay them the money and then they send me those cryptocurrency. So I just like trying to show them that actually this thing is practical and it's peer to peer. What you have, I have the BitcoinCash I can able to give it to you, and if you have also, you can also come to me and I can also buy. And like I can say, like up to today, a number of merchants have already started accepting using it, simply because they have already seen like this thing actually is the base currency that can actually be used, and most especially with the South Sudan countries, this is actually the right time and the best way of how to trade among ourselves. And that's why we start actually with our community, with our friends and the smaller group. That's why we're expanding it right now.
I see. Very cool. Very cool. So what are those leaves that you sell?
Moringa leaves. It's from the Moringa olivera group of so it is a multi-purpose tree. I mean, that has a lot of benefits, from the leaves to the like the leaves. I sell the dried and the fresh one. People can take as a tea. They can also take it as a meal. And like the seeds, I make oil lotion out of it. And like the fruits also, I mean the seeds also, I plant them and I resell them back again at a small seedling at the price of $30 just locally here. And like in one of the flooded area, my target is to plant at least 15% of the land with all the moringa, because it has a lot of minerals and nutrients in it that actually is needed in our body. So like, for example, right now we're fighting this pandemic, the COVID. So like, for example, if there's a lot of moringa in our communities, and then it will help us to boost our immune somehow, and we'll be able to, because like having all this variety of plants in one of the place that we planted, it will actually support our living within the community. Moringa has a lot of benefits, and roughly we did some scientific research and all these findings. It says that Moringa trees around more than 100 sickness in your body. So like it has a lot of benefits, and this has been one of the, I've been doing it in a smaller scale at my backyard, and also I planted some trees within the community that every time it become the leaves, I go and harvest and sell it out just locally here within South Sudan. And also some honey, of which last year I managed to export some honey to Canada, fresh one, and go and filter honey. And like this is some of the products that people within South Sudan they buy from me using this. Sometimes they give cash. And also like some of the things that I sell to them is I make hand wash, liquid soap, and sanitizer from my house. So like I have a small industrial work from the house. So people they call and they request for a DC product. Like most places right now, the demand has been very high for sanitizer, the hand wash, the different detergents that I make from the house.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Well, I think we're coming up on the end of the session. But Emmanuel Lobijo, is that how your name is pronounced?
Yeah, Emmanuel Lobijo.
Emmanuel Lobijo, founder, executive director of Junub Open Space in South Sudan. Thank you so much for being with us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, George. And I'm so much happy that I managed to be here and managed to share also what we did in South Sudan. And I really wanted to say a big thanks to all the BitcoinCash community for supporting our people here in South Sudan. All the support, all the donations that people have been making have really, really, really helped us a lot. And we really appreciate every bit of support to support our community here in South Sudan.
Outstanding. Outstanding. You rock. Keep up the great work, man.